I'm partial to the slasher subgenre. I would probably say the first Nightmare on Elm Street is maybe my number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched that a ton growing up, so
Yeah.
yeah. What is it about like slashers that you love so much?
I think the simplicity of the formula allows for just a lot of fun around the edges, like in the details, like the look of it, the gauzy look of it, like the almost like teen comedy dialogue, and then like the fun with gore. Like you can do the stuff around the edges because we all know like where the story's going, so that's kind of out of the way, and then the rest is just kind of a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure. Because I know that you did a song Witch Train in
Hmm.
2024. I think we don't have enough horror themed music in general.
Yeah.
So would that be like an album of horror music? Would that be something that you would do?
It isn't something we have done. The new record is definitely not that. Although there's some spooky elements in the lyrics, but no, that was I mean, in all honesty, it came from a just like a almost jokey conversation of like, hey, we should try and juice the algorithm with a holiday song, like which holiday song, because that way people always listen to it for the holidays, and so that was like the genesis of the conversation. All like it might have been Christmas or even like a Flag Day or something like that. But I love Halloween and we both love Halloween and yeah, in particular it just we wanted to capture that like the Alice Cooper song in Friday the 13th Part 6, I think it might be, or even the Dream Warriors theme from I think Freddy Part 4, like that kind of sort of big anthemic like hair rock kind of thing that you would hear over the credits.
Oh yeah. Oh that's perfect hair rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and that's perfect marriage for horror. So
Mhm. And we were picturing that the movie might be something like the movie Terror Train, but with witches instead of magicians.
I love that. I love that. That's a great movie. I think it's so underrated.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
So in terms of this album, it's your second album. So is there any kind of level of pressure or like anticipation for this release?
Um, I mean, honestly, maybe only like this week, like we're talking on the Wednesday before the Friday comes out. Maybe starting Monday, it was like, oh, the thing's coming out now. But no, I mean, up until then, it was like we put the first record out and we're just kept writing. Like there was no sort of like now it's time to write album two. It was like we're writing songs together. Once we got to 10 good ones, there's the first record, and then the 11th became number one of the next record, and it just kind of kept going from there.
Okay, so I was curious, like how did the songwriting process differ in any ways from the first to the second album?
So the first record was actually like Joel and I got together and sort of as like a songwriting duo at first, and he had some songs that he was working on, and I had some songs in my back pocket, and we just kind of shared, and that's like the probably that yielded like five or six, and that's like the core of the first album, and then we kind of co-wrote from there, and on the final song we wrote together for the first record ended up being the first song on it, which is Hooks. And the way that one came together was Joel had shared some lyric sheets with me that did not have accompanying music, just words on paper, and I just put like my music to those words, and that's how that song came about. And then we actually ended up chasing that process for almost the entirety of this new record. That Joel just started sharing docs of lyrics kind of at will, and I just would kind of read them, and if I heard them as music, like initially on that first read, I figured out what that music was, and if I didn't, I generally just kind of moved on to the next one because he's so prolific.
Yeah. So why call this album alternative rock?
Um, we have a song called Alternative Rock, and that I mean that we had that, and we were trying to come up with album names, and at one point it was like, what if that's the title track? And the thing I like about it is that the music harkens back to the alternative rock heyday of the '90s in a lot of ways, and I was thinking about how a couple I remember a couple interviews with artists that were I'll name them. I mean, I believe if I'm remembering correctly, like Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam, Dave Pirner of Soul Asylum, who had these really big crossover hits, you know. And at the time, it probably would have been like Runaway Train and Daughter probably would have been like all over the radio. And I remember as a young kid, kind of getting into punk. Reading some articles with them where they're like, one or both of them was like, yeah, I mean, we're essentially a punk band. I've always been a punk. And I was like, huh, really? And I was like, because to my ears, this is like alternative rock, kind of down the middle, you know, almost classic rock with, you know, like I could see that, and I was like, that's funny. And then, you know, I believe at this point, looking back, like they were being sincere. Pearl Jam and Soul Asylum are punk bands essentially, so I give it to them. But I just remember having that feeling, and so I thought it would be funny because Joel and I have each mostly played in punk bands up to this point, and we kind of made this conscious decision to like, what if we made like what if we tried to make radio rock that was good? So I thought it was funny to sort of embrace that we are, you know, as punks doing alternative rock music specifically with, you know, in mind.
Yeah. Well, this album definitely makes me nostalgic for the 90s for sure. Especially a song like Video Den,
Hmm.
because it has the lyric, it's hard to explain what life was like back then working at the video den.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, like, we're like, that time of your life, was that really on your mind when writing this song?
Yeah, so those, I mean, those are Joel's lyrics. We've definitely discussed them a lot. I can speak to them. Except that I'm not sure exactly what was on his mind at the genesis of the idea. I mean, I can tell you that the way that I met my wife Lene, who plays keys and sings in the band, was working at West Coast Video. In the summer of 2002. So I was the store manager of a West Coast Video at the ripe age of 20. Promptly got fired within 3 months, but she was an employee there, and so there is like history of video stores. Those are kind of like those are, you know, that's a special place in my heart. I do, you know, big proponent of all kinds of physical media. Like I do kind of miss the interaction with the thing that you're watching. And so that's a special idea, and it is hard. It's like hard to explain that, you know, as to the kids, you know, as the, you know, whether some of us are parents, not me, but in the band, but like, you know, my niece and nephew, like the idea of trying to explain like the concept of the radio, like the concept of not being able to pick what song you're going to listen to right now and enjoying that, and you know what I mean. Like it is hard to explain what it was like back then in a lot of ways.
So, what were some of your favorite movies to rent?
Um, let's see here. So, I mean, it probably would have been like, as a kid, it was really about like the rewatchable comedies. Like I was, you know, I loved like The Naked Gun and UHF, the Weird Al movie. You know, things like Caddyshack or, you know, I'm of the age where, you know, a Billy Madison, you know, like any of those sort of kind of like juvenile comedies were right up my alley back then.
Recently, a couple months ago, actually, I watched Empire Records.
Love it.
Yeah, like I was like, why didn't I watch this growing up? But
Yeah.
I was like, I've always been more into horror anyway, so like a lot of comedies kind of slipped under the radar for me.
Mhm. Oh, okay. Yeah, it took me a while. I would not have considered myself a horror fan as a kid, even though I was. But like I confused the idea of these scares me with I must not like them. But I kept watching them. So it was just like I would have said like I hate horror movies because the idea of being scared is like a negative thing, and it took me a while to like figure out like you know how to interact with them. So yeah, back as a kid I was a comedy kid. But yeah, I came around to horror movies like in my 20s.
Yeah. You mentioned physical media. Like, what are your thoughts on like streaming being the thing now?
I mean, ambivalent. Like it's great for me, who to you know, like as a listener to be able to pull up any song I think of. Like, you know, a song pops into my head, like, boy, I haven't listened to that in a while, and I might not own it, and I can go listen to it. So, hey, that's a whole lot of fun. Like, I'm not going to deny that. And then also, you know, as an artist, like as an independent, whether it was, you know, as an unsigned artist previously or on a very small label like Sell the Heart, you know, it's nice that there is an ease with which we can get our music out to the world. So that's great. But that's about the only nice thing I have to say about it. Like it obviously, like all the things that people talk about as reasons that it's terrible are true. So
Right.
it's it's a tough relationship. It's complicated, like most of life.
Yeah. Sorry if you hear like things crashing behind me. My cat just woke up from a nap.
It's all good.
It's like crazy right now.
My dog is napping behind me, so we'll see if she lasts the whole interview here.
Okay. Well, on streaming, I always think of it like, especially for indie artists, oh, I'll check this album out, and if I like it, then I'll buy the physical or buy merch when they tour. That's like how I see it, anyways.
Yeah, I mean I try and do that. I try and pay for stuff that I really respond to. And yeah, it's definitely like those kinds of fans are appreciated. But it's very much not the norm. I think most people are not operating that way, and there's an issue there.
Yeah, for sure. No, your song "Something of Value," I really gravitated towards this song. It has a really commercial pop rhythm to it. I'm
hmm
really curious how you develop, like, how did that come about musically?
Yeah, so that one is that's one of the few that I'm the primary lyricist for, although Joel did throw some good lines in there for me. But the idea of the song is that it's a conversation between two people who are ending a relationship, and both of them have their brains are sort of candied in the way that mine is, where they can only really speak through song lyrics, almost like AIM away messages used to, you would share your feelings, right? Like by quoting your favorite artist. Like these two people are trying to explain to each other how they feel, and they keep just like quoting famous songs. So like some examples, "It Won't Be Long," they say, which is a Beatles thing. I think "Go Your Own Way," the Fleetwood Mac song. They quote Radiohead at one point, saying "Cut the Kids in Half," which is from the song "Morning Bell." They quote Prince. They quote Tom Petty. And then along with that all happening in the lyrics, then the music is very much quoting like The Cure. What song is that? Dun, 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 dun. I have the album next to me for this other segment we're doing. What song is that? "Close to Me," of course, "Close to Me." And then also David Bowie's "Modern Love" is sort of being quoted musically. So that's just a big sort of pastiche song, in both lyrically and musically.
Now, I speak to a lot of artists, and they often say that releasing an album, it's no longer theirs. So it's like the world's at that point. Is that true for you?
Um, it's mine and the world's, but once I release it, I can only interact with it the way anybody else can. And so I found myself recently because I have it like loaded up in my phone. The way I actually tend to interact with like most music I'm a fan of is I was always like a mixtape guy, and then a burned CD guy, and I'm a big playlist guy, and I tend to resequence any album I listen to. Like it's very rare I listen to albums the way the artist intended. That's just how I interact with music, and I've already done it to ours. I've already decided that we put the songs in the wrong order, and I have a reordered version myself. So anybody can do that, and so yeah, it is the world's, in the sense that like it can't be remixed, it can't be rewritten. If any of the lyrics are clunkers, too late. If we missed an edit on a guitar thing, too late. Like yeah, it's out there now. But it's mine too because I listen to it.
Now, you mentioned like making mixtapes, and you mentioned the radio earlier. I really miss recording my favorite songs off the radio.
Yeah.
And the DJ would always talk over the intro, almost into the lyrics, and I used to get so frustrated. I was like, "Can you please stop talking and let me listen to the song?"
Yeah. Yeah, either that, well, either you have the DJ talking over the intro, or you don't, and you actually miss 3 to 5 seconds of the intro while you're running the hit record because you
Right.
you don't know what's the right song until it's already started playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, your song "Hate the Weekend," I love the guitar work in this song specifically.
Oh, cool.
During your process of putting a song together, like how do those guitar parts come together?
So I sort of write like I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and when I write for every instrument sort of at the same time. Like as I'm hearing something, I'm not like I work the chords out and then I'm like, what kind of drum beat might go over? I just like hear a song and then I have to start deconstructing it. Like, okay, so what is each thing doing? And so because that's how I come up with them, my demos are super layered. So I'm essentially doing like pre-production as I'm demoing a song to share with Joel and say like, do we like this? Is this something we should bring to the whole group to learn? He's hearing something with like six guitar tracks and like a drum machine and like keyboards and backing vocals and everything. Like that's I'm already putting all that down. So it's I mean that's the way I come up with it. Essentially, I hear it fully formed and then I kind of have to figure out what is it that I'm hearing.
Yeah, cool. I just want to switch gears a little bit. Are there any artists, like alternative rock artists, that like you've heard recently or discovered that have really impressed you?
Current alternative rock artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I like what the band Mama is doing. I think they're great. The band Wishy. I saw Wishy with Mama recently, like in the past year or two when they toured together. I think they both put great albums out. The band Hotline TNT, I think, is doing alternative rock music very well. Um, what else have I been listening to? It's hard to remember. I like I mean, alternative rock can in my mind can lean like heavy. It's not always sort of the power pop version that we're doing. I really like the album that Angel Dust put out this year, which is they're like a hardcore band sort of, but like that record sounds like just the heavier side of alternative rock to my ears, and it's really good.